take this as permission. If you have a Twitch stream or you want to use my music in one of your videos or something, this is your permission. Go ahead and use the music.
Hello again, all you beautiful people out there. I am Mrs. Realistic, and I'm back with Tom's new song, Names. So without too much babbling away from me, let's just get into it.
They gon' try to call you names, label you with things till you're ashamed. You're a sexist or a racist, white supremacist or gay. They'll attack your reputation, claim that you're the one to blame, and try to make you hate yourself for ways that you behave. They're just names, embrace them and they'll never cause you pain. They're just words that another person thought up in their brain. They're just names, they do not define you, that's insane. And they'll just call you something different if you change. Call me racist.
That is a good point. They're just names, and they'll call you something different if you change. Because we all know that, especially in today's climate, there's literally like nobody that can be perfect enough and PC enough for the loonies over on the other side. The more words and names that you take away, there's just going to be another one in its place. I mean, I think I've said before, eventually there's going to be no language because words of any kind are going to be labeled as harmful and offensive.
Not define you, that's insane, and they'll just call you something different if you change. Call me racist, I don't make no BLM donations. I can stand with black folks without a branded corporation. All this systemic prejudice, if you live in this nation, you privileged, black or Caucasian. Call me transphobic, but I support you in your...
Now, I know that all of you are probably in agreement, but I'm continually surprised, even though I shouldn't be, the amount of people that say that this country is so racist and transphobic and et cetera, et cetera. But name another country that is as diverse as this one. Because the majority of countries that they try and name that they say are better than America are usually like Nordic countries, or countries like Japan, South Korea, which are all extremely homogenous. I know I've heard that Japan and China, Asian countries, are very hard to emigrate to. So if you say that there's a country that's better than America, well, you're probably going to be moving to Sweden, where most people are white. So their argument falls apart as soon as they speak it. I've heard some people say that Canada is very homogenous. Having lived there, it is absolutely not. It's quite diverse. So between Canada and the US, there's really no other nations that are as diverse and like a melting pot like North America. The United States and Canada being two of the main ones. So moving away from a country like the US, you're going to probably find that all of those ideas you had about how transphobic and how racist you thought this country was, it will probably be a huge surprise. Move to somewhere like Saudi Arabia and see how transphobic they are. I can guarantee that they don't allow gay pride parades for a month.
Privileged, black or Caucasian. Call me transphobic, but I support you in your policies. I just can't ignore the very basics of biology. All I see is men and women trying to live in harmony, not 100 genders that you wanna be. Call me snowflake, cause I'm offended, I ain't stone-faced. Social justice warriors destroying us with woke ways. Mad because they voted for the POTUS with the most hate. Man, I miss the old days.
POTUS with the most hate, and yet trying to fly under the radar as though the things that he's done are not racist, and the things that he did for 40 years weren't racist. Thank goodness Trump is out of office because mean tweets and blah, blah, blah. But, they all said that it should have been a woman in office or it should have been a person of color. Well, we had a black president for 2 terms, and he was probably the worst thing that ever happened to America. Race relations are far worse. And then they go on about how white men run the country, and then they vote for a white man. So It never makes sense. I can never make it make sense. And it's laughable if it weren't so sad and pathetic, the things that are happening in this country right now, and that people don't seem to really care. Every single thing that Brandon has done, including his family, just gets swept under the rug. And yet, if it was the Trump family that had done even half of what has come out about the Brandon administration, it would have been never dropped. It would have been talked about still to this day, even though he's not in office anymore. The fact that people are okay with the inflation and all the issues that happened in Afghanistan, etc., they're okay with that because they don't want to admit that he's worse than Trump. It's like they want to, and I've said this before, it's like Stockholm Syndrome. They want to be comfortable with their mistake, and they don't want to admit it. But I have seen a lot of people who have come out and said how upset they are that they voted for this current administration and that they wish they could take their vote back. As Samson said, he would take mean tweets over high gas prices. I don't want to be best friends with the president. I don't care what he does with his spare time. I don't care who he was involved with or if he cheated on his wife. I just want somebody who runs the country properly. And what we're dealing with today is so far beyond wrong that but then what do you do if he gets kicked out? We don't want Camel Toe and we don't want Pelosi, so at this point, I don't know, what do we do? Let it run its course and hope for better next time.
Because they voted for the POTUS with the most hate. Man, I miss the old days. Call me loser, call me bigot, call me stupid, call me bitter, call me ugly, call me cracker, call me doucher, call me triggered. You can call me what you want, cause at the end of the day, man, they're just names. Go ahead and call us names, dog. Do your thing. We ain't tripping cause we heard it all before. Give a damn about the names, dog. We feel no pain. Your words ain't gonna hurt us anymore. Go ahead and call us names, dog. Do your thing. Y'all are tripping, but I hope you find the Lord. Give a damn about the names, dog. We feel no shame. Call us anything you want, I'm getting bored. They gon' try to call you names, label you with things till you're ashamed. Repeat it till you really start believing what they say. They gon' stamp it on your forehead and scream it till you break. They love to say they woke, they not awake. They're just names, afraid of anyone who ain't the same. So they classify your thoughts as controversial, not okay. Then they cancel you till everything you have all gets erased. They trying to tell the world you bad, they're just names.
You know, it's such a good point that eventually you just get completely canceled. And I mean, I don't know how many of you know Owen Benjamin. He's pretty controversial. A lot of what he says, people don't really necessarily know whether it's sarcastic, whether it's satirical. But he tells it like it is, and he doesn't care. But he has said he is the most censored man on the internet. He has to almost every day re-upload another YouTube channel. They have made it impossible for him to make money on Patreon. He can't have a bank account. They literally shut down all forms of payment for him to be able to receive money for what he does. He used to be a comedian and an actor, and eventually they wouldn't even allow him to do shows anymore. His stand-up comedy was hilarious, and it's really kind of scary when you think of it. He's now basically a homesteader, and he started up his own community of online, as well as having property where he's trying to get people to move out and sort of start like their own little, what they call Beartaria. But he literally was canceled so hardcore that he couldn't even make money for his family simply because of the words that came out of his mouth. And he's said that he's never even had so much as a misdemeanor. He's never been arrested for anything. He's never had a felony. But he's treated like a criminal. And somehow someone up there was able to make a decision to take away this man's livelihood. I can't imagine how much further they could take this. Well, I can, but I don't want to believe that it could happen in the US. But some of it is. So it's a scary thought.
So you tell everything you have all gets erased. They trying to tell the world you bad, they're just names. Call me conservative or liberal, Republican or Democrat. I'm somewhere in the middle, but y'all don't know what to do with that. The system got you so obsessed with classifying right or left. You never call a person human, call them names instead. Call me sexist. Men run the world cause they're aggressive, but behind every man there's a woman just as successful. We will never be equal in every way, that ain't helpful. Our differences are why we're great together. Call me white devil, I know you think the system favors me. My privilege is residual benefits from the slavery. Subconscious prejudice embedded in the system made for me. Don't mean I never struggled to survive, I guess we ain't agree. Ignorant and jaded, call me dumb, uneducated. Call me idiot or redneck or delusional or crazy. Call me anything society has taught you to say. Cause at the end of the day, they're just names. Go ahead.
That's exactly what it is. Society has taught you to say that. And that's the ultimate in brainwashing. People just watch, they scroll through on Facebook, on Instagram, they watch the mainstream news, which we all know is trash, the mainstream shows, which are trash, and now it's even infiltrating things like Netflix, Hulu, all of these woke ideas that are supposed to be good for our kids, but it's creating this society of people who are so entitled and so needing of safe spaces that eventually it's going to collapse because these people can't deal with day-to-day problems, or it's going to, and this is what I believe, eventually it's going to grow a society of people who are so sick of it that they're stronger than the previous generation, which this is what I'm hoping. Anyway, you know, myself and my husband raising kids that hopefully will be able to think for themselves, think critically. And we've always told them, like, if it smells like BS, trust your gut. Always trust your gut. Don't just believe something blindly because somebody tells you something. And that's what's happening, is that mainstream media is so pervasive that it has brainwashed an entire society at this point, because it's not just the generation of 20-somethings. I mean, I see people who are my parents' generation, my generation, driving around with Biden stickers on their cars. I mean, like, you're okay with paying double the amount of gas in your car that you're driving with a Biden sticker? In the end, hopefully they have had enough, and it's going to be another generation of extremely strong, level-headed people who see through all the BS. CNN, MSNBC, all of those, The View especially, those shows, for some reason, they're allowed to stay on and spout the nonsense and the misinformation because they are more of a liberal view. Why is conservatism seen as a bad thing? Why is wanting a nuclear family seen as a bad thing? Why is teaching your children what you believe is right something that is slowly being taken away from parents by the school system? I can't really wrap my mind around it, and why there are so many people that are lackadaisical about it and just let it flow over them, and hope for the best. Because I watched the Jim Brewer special on YouTube, and he said in 6 weeks of college he basically lost his child to the left, and that cost him $40,000. So I don't know that I'm going to be pushing my kids to go to college. Start your own business, do a trade, and do something you love, and hopefully be successful, because the other road leads to Looney Town, and I'm really, really hoping that's not going to be the case for my kids.
Anything society has taught you to say, because at the end of the day, they're just names. Go ahead and call us names, dog. Do your thing. We ain't tripping because we heard it all before. Give a damn about the names, dog. We feel no pain. Your words ain't gonna hurt us anymore. Go ahead and call us names, dog. Do your thing. Y'all are tripping, but I hope you find the Lord. Give a damn about the names, dog. We feel
be your worst.
Stupid, loser, ugly, poser, moron, liar, crazy, loner. Go ahead and call us names, dog. Do your thing. We ain't tripping cause we heard it all before. Give a damn about the names, dog. We feel no pain. Your words ain't gonna hurt us anymore. Go ahead and call us names, dog. Do your thing. Y'all are tripping, but I hope you find the Lord. Give a damn about the names, dog. We feel no shame. Call us anything you want, I'm getting bored.
All right. Tom's looking good too. He's looking healthy. Another great video and song by Tom and Nova. I really love how they did that. I saw actually on, I think it was on Facebook, how they did the green screen on that, and it was really cool. You know, I don't know what his thoughts were about everything going on when he was still living in Canada, but I think I've mentioned before that many things that I used to believe in or I used to think have changed over the years. And I truly think that, you know, from your 20s through your 30s into your 40s, your beliefs can kind of morph and change over time. I think it's inevitable, especially once you have children, to not only change, but I think your core beliefs, maybe when you're 20, are not the same as when you're 40. He has also probably changed a lot in his ideas from living in Canada. It's a vastly different society, even though we're, you know, just a hop, skip, and a jump away. My family that still live in Canada still have a lot of the beliefs that I had before I moved here, because having not lived in this country and all you see on TV is, you know, bits and pieces, you can't really know what it's like to live in this country. Different societies, even as similar as we are in many ways, it is a different society over here than it is in Canada. And, you know, I think a lot of people in Canada, you know, everybody says, oh, everybody's so friendly there. And I think the problem is that they tend to be able to be pushovers a little bit more than maybe over here. And so that's where I think the hardcore patriotism comes in, is that maybe people in the US are more apt to fight for the freedoms that we have over here, simply because it's enshrined differently here than it is in Canada. It's such a great message. You know, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. In the end, they're just words. So let them slide off your shoulder. If somebody's going to be super butthurt over the fact that you said something that's not PC, that's their problem, not yours. So thanks again, Tom and Nova, for a great video, and keep doing what you're doing. And as I always say, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.